Today we're exploring an abandoned seafood restaurant and private club in Dayton, Ohio. The now abandoned property was split up into two separate businesses. On the right, with the dock, was, for the longest time, the Riverdale Ice House. It was owned by two brothers. But after it closed, a local seafood restaurant moved in. And now it's abandoned. Now for the left side, the Ivy restaurant occupied that side of the building before becoming the North Riverdale Athletic Club. And then in 2008, it became a private club called the Ivy Lounge, playing off its original name. Both the Ivy Lounge and the seafood restaurant abruptly closed in 2008 after a tragic arson for hire that caused the death of the Ivy Lounge's beloved chef, Fabia. He was only 50 years old. The perpetrator was never brought to justice, even with the facts of the case largely undisputed. So let's check out the seafood restaurant before we head over to the Ivy Lounge and see how the man they called Unk got away with murder. If you really enjoy our videos, please consider subscribing and supporting us through Patreon. The property owner, we asked him if we could check it out before it gets demoed. He said, go ahead, you can live in it if you want to. So I think he is excited to get it demoed, which it's sad to see it go, but realistically, it's in pretty bad shape. Looks like they used to sell bread or something else here. They got some coolers. We got a huge old safe. Big heavy boy. Don't let it shut. There is legitimate a fish head in here. Definitely don't let that shut. Another fish head. I don't know what these big tubs were used for, but I'm sure some folks in the comments will. Maybe those are part of like a meat display case. I don't know, it does seem like they sold meat and some other things here at one point. Premium meats, great on the grill, thin, stew meat, buy one get one free, manager special. So we found a menu. Real Fish and Seafood Inc. The Ivy Lounge has been frozen in time since that night in August of 2008. But before we go inside, let's talk a little bit about the fire. It all started when a man they called Unk, later identified as Anthony Lee Berry and also known as Anthony Blakely, approached a man named James Williams to have him help set fire to Club Ivy. Because he was cheated out of money by the club's owner, or so he said, Unk offered James $500, and the two of them went and got a ladder and gas can, climbed up on the roof, and poured gas down a vent, and then set it on fire. James claimed he didn't know anyone was inside. But earlier that night, the club had hosted a Women for Obama rally because Michelle Obama was speaking at the Democratic National Convention. All the staff had left, except for Rob Fabia, who ran the day-to-day operations. Even though Rob had his own place to stay, it had gotten late, and he decided to crash on the office couch until the morning. Sadly, the fire killed Rob that night. The two almost got away with it. James even bragged about what he did, until he found out that Rob had died in the fire. And then he became remorseful. It was James's fiancée that initially went to police. And later, James was found guilty of several charges, including multiple counts of arson, aggravated arson, involuntary manslaughter, and murder. While James headed off to prison, Anthony awaited trial on his own charges. But he had something up his sleeve. While James was in prison, he expressed that he lived in constant fear, as Anthony had a close relative in the same cell block, and he received constant threats. The prison did what they could. They moved him to a different cell block, but the threats didn't stop. And for 6 months, James didn't even leave his cell in fear of being attacked. And then, James chose to end his own life And because Anthony had the right to question his witnesses, all charges were dropped, and Rob's killer would walk free. So let's head inside the Ivy for one last tour before demolition.
Here's a menu. Ivy pizza menu. Must be called the Ivy. Look at this, a little half door that goes into storage. Gear gas. Just keeps going. Look at this old bar sign. The club kitchen. You can't read it all. All the letters are falling off. This looks like an office. The chef shirts or chef jackets. Look at that. Still left. This is the office. Yeah, look, there's a TV on the wall. It burnt. Wow, the lights and everything are still here. It looks like right after the fire, everything was left just where it was. Let's keep looking. Oh, it just keeps going. This is more of the club.
well, another video has come to an end. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and until next time, be safe out there.